Hello, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Hope Booster. Today is Sunday, and if you watched the video yesterday, which was all about the science of hope and the 2,000 research studies that support why hope is the #1 predictor of a happy, healthy future. I also mentioned that I would be talking about tips to increase your hope levels based on what we know about the science of hope. So today will be just that. I will talk about a big idea for increasing your hope, which is called future casting. And future casting was first introduced to me by a scientist. Shocker, I know. A scientist called Dr. Shane Lopez, and his book is called Making Hope Happen. I feel like Dr. Lopez was the first scientist who really took the science of hope out of academia and into kind of mainstream. So a lot of what Dr. Lopez talks about really resonates with me because it feels really practical and rational, and I'm very easily able to apply it in my life. Dr. Lopez is a mentee of a scientist called Dr. Rick Snyder, who I believe I've talked about before. He was a mentee of Dr. Martin Seligman, who founded positive psychology. Dr. Snyder and Dr. Lopez are both have both passed away now, but there are other scientists like Casey Gwynn, Chan Hellman, who I talked about yesterday, who have taken up this the science and continue to carry it forward. So I'll continue to reference some of these scientists as my mentors, my thought experts in this area. Anyways, Dr. Lopez, he speaks about future casting, and that is the idea of using your mind and the power of your imagination to put yourself into the future of what your life could look like and how to make your future better than today. So I'd like to talk about future casting and some of the tips and tricks to really leverage the idea of future casting to its full potential. So he talks about a tool called Cantrells Ladder. So Cantrills Ladder, which is a tool that's been used for 45 years to help people measure happiness and well-being and where they'd like to be in the future. So the concept of the ladder is to imagine a ladder with steps numbered 0 at the bottom and 10 at the top. So if 0 represents your worst possible life, the life you cannot imagine could be any worse, that's at 0. And then 10, of course, is your best possible life. What that would look like if you were living your absolute best life. Okay, so there's a few questions to answer when you're imagining this ladder. The first is, what does your best possible life look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? How much money do you have? Where do you live? What do you wear? What do you drive? What kind of coffee do you drink? All of those things. What does a best possible life look like? Who are you helping? How much do you know? How do you spend your day? Who's with you, supporting you, and doing these things with you? What does your best possible life look like? Okay, so engage your brain, engage that limbic system of your brain, and give some thought to what that best possible life looks like. Okay, so once you have that, then imagine on that ladder from 0, your worst life, to 10, your best life, where are you right now? What step are you on? No shame, no guilt, no embarrassment, just where are you today on that ladder? What step are you on? 3, 6, 10, somewhere in between, clearly. Imagine what number on that ladder you are. And then I'd like you to imagine if your best possible life, that vision you just talked about, is 10, 1 year from now and 5 years from now, where do you expect your life to be in relation to where you are? So if you are on a 4 on the ladder, 1 year from now, do you expect that you're going to be at a 7, at a 2, somewhere in between? Where a year from now, where do you want to be on that ladder? And then where do you want to be 5 years from now on that ladder? Okay, so give some thought to those things and where you want to be on that ladder. So because that gives us a baseline, a place to start from in getting to that place. So if you, hopefully, you are higher on the ladder a year from now and 5 years from now, and 85% of the world population does expect that they will be higher on the ladder, but there are some that expect that they will be lower. But if you are higher on the ladder a year from now and 5 years from now, awesome. Let's talk more about what you can do to get to that place on the ladder, and keep encouraging you, find that agency and that willpower we talked about yesterday to keep you moving higher on that ladder. So there's a couple things that you can do to keep imagining that future for yourself. So I'm sure you've heard about vision boards, and I'm very skeptical. I've always been quite skeptical about the power of vision boards. But really, a vision board is just a visual representation of where you want to be for the future, what you want to have, be, see, do, or have. That engages your limbic system, that engages your willpower and your intrinsic motivation to get there. So based on science, how can that be bad? So investigate what it looks like to create a vision board. There's this idea of a dream catcher. So there's an actual app out there that's actually been developed by a financial company called a dream catcher, which you can store pictures and texts of what you want your dreams to look like, what you'd like to be, see, do, or have in your future. And then because it's developed by a financial company, they will actually put the future or build the financial plan to help you achieve those things, which is quite cool and practical and actionable, of course. But you can do that in your phone. You can do that in your computer. Just start to save photos as you come across them on websites or in nature and in real life of what you want your future to look like, which becomes a visual reminder of continuing to aim for those things. Share your future day fantasy with other people. Talking out loud, as I've often talked about, the power in sharing our stories and sharing our dreams and our futures out loud is hugely powerful in life. Be careful who you share these stories with, however. We want to share them with people who are going to lift us up, who are going to help us get there. Maybe there are mentors in your life that you can share with, share your future ideas with, that can help you get there, that can help you employ your pathways thinking to find the way power that you need to get to those places. Talk to people who will inspire you to continue on that journey, that will continue to encourage you when you're not feeling awesome, perhaps, or you're emotionally drained for the day. Share your future with others where it will matter to them, at least as much as they matter to you. Do you know what I mean? So often we can share with people who are typically negative people, or people who just think we're crazy or don't support our dreams or only want to shut us down because of their own feelings of self-worth. So be intentional again about who you share these dreams with so that they can encourage and support you to move towards that positive future. Put it on paper. If you don't want to talk it out loud, put it on paper. Journal it. Do your morning pages around it. Helping to put it down gets it out of the jumble of your head sometimes and can make it clearer when it's down on paper as well. And then the last sort of future casting technique, take your future for a test drive. Maybe rent a vehicle. If you have a particular vehicle in your mind in the future, go rent that vehicle. See if it meets your needs. See if it fits your family members. See if it'll, withstand those high mountain roads that you want to take on your future journey. See if it's got the power you want. See if it has you standing up tall and feeling proud to drive it. Test drive your future. If you're thinking about going to college or university, maybe you can take a tour of the campus. Maybe you can stay in that college town overnight and get the vibe, get the feel for it. Maybe you can audit a class and sit in on a class and see what it feels like to be a student there. Right now, since we're stuck at home, maybe there's virtual tours out there you can take. I know that there's lots of museums that are offering virtual tours and cameras in zoos to see what that looks like. I know that there's a lot of universities that are offering courses online for free that you can participate in even if you're not a student there. So take advantage of some of those virtual tour opportunities as well. Maybe you want to do a house swap to test living in a different place. You know, it's pretty low risk. You can buy a plane ticket to Paris, when the quarantine is over, of course, buy a plane ticket to Paris and do a house swap where you can live in the town, in the city that you think you'd like to move to someday. So test that out. And then maybe if you are thinking that there's a pet in your future, but you don't know what impact that would have on your lifestyle, try fostering before you buy. Borrow a pet from a friend or family who's traveling, and maybe you can pet sit for a bit and just see what that looks like and see how it could fit into your future plans and your current lifestyle. So those are some ideas around future casting, which will help to picture yourself and make your future better than it is today. And that is what hope is all about. You can increase your hope levels by future casting and figuring out what steps and actions you can take to make your future better than today. That is my tip for today. I will be back tomorrow and next week with some more tips on increasing our hope levels. And I hope you have a great rest of the weekend and look forward to speaking to you again next week. As always, let me know if I can do anything for you, answer specific questions. And if you haven't taken the Hope quiz on my website, it's totally free. Just go ahead and take those 10 questions and you can get a sense of your hope levels today, what your baseline is, and then as you maybe implement or do some of these things that we talk about, you can see your hope levels steadily increasing as you move into the future. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.